I'm listening to KANU Chronicles. And it makes me feel alright. I listen to KANU Chronicles, sometimes twice, sometimes once. But it's hard to be a swami when your name is broken. But it helps when I listen to the KANU Chronicles. Sometimes twice, sometimes once.
Hey guys, welcome back. You're listening to the KANU Chronicles. I'm your host, Nate, aka Crash, and it's episode 246. And jumping into it now into week 4 of the I would say it's safe to say it is a full month now for out here on the West Coast, since we've been on Corona lockdown. Myself a little less than that, but that's when the initial part started with bars and all that stuff, you know. The first big, whoa, this shit's real. So, which, definitely glad they did. I think it was definitely, you got to do it. I mean, it's like it or not, and we're going to get into it in a minute, but let me stop on that. I'm just going to be running a couple errands here, guys, while I'm recording. I'm finally out of the house. It's been a little bit. So I will be taking this pause here and there. You're not going to even know it. If I could ever get out of my damn street, you would think it's a regular day, man. A lot of people out. This guy just cruising along on his bike, no mask. Yeah, just funny though. Well, actually, before I get into it, all right. Let me get my social medias, guys. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at KANU Chronicles, and then on Instagram it's at GRTN and the number 8. That's Great Nate. So you can follow me on those 2 platforms. And thank you again for listening. If you're first time, welcome aboard. Hope you continue. If you've been listening, thank you always. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I hope where you guys are, you're, doing well. I'm sure you are. It just depends on your circumstance of job. Anybody that's been in the industries that have really gotten affected, which is mine too, but I'm still in a part of it that we're going to get back to work way sooner. I already just got some heads up, matter of fact. So, anytime now. It could be maybe even this week, I don't know, but I kind of doubt that. I feel like it's going to be another week maybe. So that being said, but yeah, I'm very fortunate that that's the case. And I even as this started, I wasn't that concerned because I knew I know what it is. My position, we're isolated. We work in rooms alone mostly. That's how we definitely are now. Most of the jobs in my industry are already pretty much set up that way. It's just for me, there's been definitely quite a few places where now they've had us in rooms together type thing. But this time, it was just one other guy, but they're splitting us up, obviously, which is good. But everybody else, it's already set. They already do work isolated. So that's why I'm it's very cool. Very glad that that's the case. I don't have to, I don't have a job. I'm not in the hospitals. I'm not in that kind of jobs. Where I'm really exposed to anything. So that's huge. I don't have to deal with public, obviously, because that wouldn't be the, I don't have to even deal with, even outside of public, I don't even have to deal with face-to-face with anybody, even before this. I mean, there would be, like, we would have a little bit of interactions here and there, but very minimal compared to a lot of jobs. But now it's going to be obviously that much less. You'll just, I could tell everybody's probably just going to keep it email or talk. I mean, you have to obviously talk here and there together, but I think, it's going to probably be pretty, I think there's just going to be some measures to keep that cool, So, that being said, all right, getting a little lost where I was going, what I was doing here. All right, so I'm going to be pausing here in a second, but yeah, to get into it. But yeah, I hope for you guys, that, you're in a job that you're able to keep going, or you got your own setup, which a lot of people do these days, and more. And right now, I guarantee, there's a segment of people, don't get it twisted, we can't get these numbers, but there's a segment out there worldwide that just because of this, they were already probably right there, but now they're getting their own home-based type job, and whatever the case that is anymore. And I'm telling you, the stuff I'm looking at, and I've been looking and learning myself, it's such a wide range. So I'm going to get into it in a second, guys. Just hold that thought, and we'll be right back. All right, back on here, guys. Just finally got a couple errands done. The one that I stopped at initially, I must have got there right at the wrong time, because they were closed temporarily for an hour, so I had to wait. I mean, I didn't have to wait, but it was like, I'll just hang around there. I didn't need to, like, leave and come, it was like, nah, because I had a certain system of what I wanted to do, so no big deal. Real exciting. Just a real exciting update for you guys. So yeah, I'm going to get back to what I was saying. I was talking about with jobs and people working from home. So yeah, man, I bet you, like I was saying, and look, a lot of you listening might already be in the midst of it. You're like, Nate, I know, I'm whatever, 20 some years old or 32 years old, and I have a YouTube, or whatever, you have something that you're making money online with, and it's like no biggie to you, because that's kind of pretty much what you've grown up with, and all that. But yeah, no, I'm not just talking for, it's not like every young person is some online millionaire or whatever guru. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to explain that, there's just a wide variety of things that you could do online that aren't necessarily, like, affiliate marketing usually comes to mind, which, hey, I don't know, everybody may have their feelings or thoughts on that in different ways, but it is a legitimate business, and it's still thriving huge. Don't get it twisted. There is that, but it's just not necessarily for everybody. That's a little different. Then there's a lot of stuff that's task related, but the stuff that I could say probably, like, I'd say this, most of us that have been used to an hourly job, or you're not on a like, if you're a real salesperson, or a realty, like somewhere where you've been, like, used to commission, and that's kind of what you've done for years, so it's like no big thing to you. I think some ways they have a better, I think those people sometimes can adjust better, because they're used to that, and that's kind of what they've done. So, but again, like, it's interesting because there's still a certain mindset or something we all have to, like, change sometimes, whether it's this or other things. But you could be really good at a desk or at your certain job, but then when it gets put on you to now you set up something. Now you make a business that makes money. It's a bit more daunting. It's a lot more questions. You know, it takes skill, and and it doesn't have to be difficult. It's just that coming from one thought to another, it could throw you off. So I think that's a lot of our holdup. There's a bit of a technical aspect with being online. Like, you can know how, hey, you know, people will say, well, it's just easy like this, or it's just easy like that. And that may be true, but I think people need to really have a system in place to get them where they're going. And a lot of these things don't necessarily have that. But like I said, specifically stuff that you could get going right away, and you don't have to really learn marketing, and something that's more, you know, seems more confusing. But there's stuff like user testing. There's a lot of these user testing sites, and I'm going to give you a couple YouTube guys you can follow, because they're going to get into it. I'm just talking off the top of my head. I can't remember every website, but and also, again, you got to find. I'm just sharing this again with people that maybe you're looking for that thing to get you so you could just work from home. You know, whether this was going on or not. So, anyways, there's user testing, a lot of user testing sites where they need people to test the websites for any errors. And there's companies that basically they're getting all the jobs, and you just sign up and you become a tester, and then they pay you accordingly. And apparently there's ones where, like, per thing that's not working on the site, I think that's what they pay, and you get $50 every time you find like a link or something that's just not working. You get $50 for it. And some of these you don't have to be on camera, some you do, but it's only for the particular job. It's not going out on YouTube or anything like that. It's just there, like, screen recording and getting your data and you know, about what's going on type thing with the site. So yeah, two guys to check out with this kind of stuff. Check out Tyler Pratt on YouTube. I'm getting nothing for any of this stuff. These are people I've been looking at for some time now and watching their videos. But Tyler Pratt, check him out. Also Branson Tay. He's a younger guy I've checked out. Those two right there, I'd say spend some time there. And watch several, you know, that they are, you know, the titles and all that, they are clickbait, you know, light as far as, but some are going to be better than others. Let's just put it that way. But as much as they are, they do give you, I think they do give some really interesting, you know, they give some interesting ideas, you know, some side stuff that you could come up with. So yeah, check it out. Look up those two guys. You gotta watch, you know, like, I would say try to watch about 10 or so videos of each of them. You'll start finding stuff, trust me. And there'll be other things. Now, I wouldn't say, like, be careful too. I wouldn't say just to, you know, necessarily sign right up right away with anything. You know, maybe do some more research on them yourselves. You know, you could, you know, I'm just saying, take a little time, see if it's really worth it. But if you like experimenting and you just like, hey, I got the time, I need some, then fire off, you know, experiment with some of the stuff. Yeah, there's so much. There's apps that pay for, you know, you to play the games, and, you know, of course, there's the survey stuff. You know, those are hit or miss. I'm not saying they're all bad. There could be some okay ones, but, you know, I feel like I kind of stay away from, I think they're a little bit of a waste of time, quite honestly. That's the whole thing. You know, you're gonna have to look at this, and it's like, you know, depending on what you currently make per hour or not, you know, you're gonna have to look at what's gonna be worth you putting some time into. Now, if it's just like, again, if you just want to go with like, oh, I'll just try it out, and then that's the way to be. The thing is, though, you gotta, like, some of that stuff. I think that this is what I've got. Okay, this is what I got, and it's not just for the survey sites, but some of this stuff, like transcribing surveys, Maybe even like Fiverr oriented stuff where you're going to start like, hey, I could do this, or you got a skill. Like, you basically, to start off with any of those, to get some, like, really start making some money, you're going to have to hustle a little bit more. You're always going to have to, but you're going to have to usually sign up for like 3 or 4 of those different sites. So if it's, for instance, if it's going to be a Fiverr thing where you're like, hey, I'll do your social media, whatever the thing is you're going to offer, you're going to have to sign up with them. You're going to want to sign up with Freelancer. You're going to sign up with as many of those as you can, basically. Probably want to keep it. You probably are good at 3 or 4, though, to be honest, just to get it started, and also just to be able to even, follow it all. But yeah, you just start doing that. Same with surveys. You're going to have to do the same thing if you're going to go down that road. And then as you start, you're going to get more and more and more jobs. It's going to start small. You're just going to get this one and that one, or maybe you'll get a really good one to start off. Doesn't mean that won't happen. I'm just saying you're going to have to build up a reputation on those sites, to get that going. And it could take, you have to give it an honest couple months, I would say, Now, as far as how much time, I don't know. That's up to you. That depends. But you're going to have to I would say you're going to have to do a good 10 to 15 hours at least per week to really, get a real feel if that's going to be good or not. You know what I mean? You'll probably find out pretty soon. But yeah, it's one of those things. Now, you could also, another one that's just really straight up, and it's nothing new, and it's just that it's easier to get into, or it's online and stuff, but teaching English. You could get into teaching English pretty relatively easily. You need I know there's some certification you might need, but it's pretty cheap. Like, maybe you might have to come out of pocket to get to that point, like for $100, or maybe not. But you could look up that, and those can pay pretty much a standard hourly, like $25, sometimes maybe more, I'm sure, especially if you got experience. But if you're starting, you're probably going to make $25. I don't know if it'll be less, but mostly I think it's kind of at $25, which is pretty damn good for a lot of people in a lot of places. And you're gonna have all kinds of hours you could do. It's definitely interesting. And that's, again, you don't have to go anywhere. And in some cases, though, in some of that, you could start getting traveling experience. There's companies that will send you over to whatever country, and then if that's something you want to do at some point. So yeah, it's worth checking out. I have a cousin that got into that. And, but I mean, she was in college and stuff. I know she really got more a full teaching credential, I'm pretty sure, but she was in South Korea actually for a few years in her 20s there. And, yeah, she what do you call it? She did a lot of the teaching, English teaching there and all that. Great experience and all that stuff. And then these days, I don't know if she teaches locally. I'd have to ask her that. But she's back in Pittsburgh now with her son. And shout out to my cousin Jessica. So yeah, she I know she still teaches. I'm just not sure what, I'm probably, well, let's put it, right now she's for sure teaching online, I'm sure. Or doing something online like that. So yeah, that's pretty much what's up. So again, it's not like biggest breaking news or something like that. But I'm just sharing some of these things as I will coming up. And I have done this here and there before, but just giving you some ideas, get you some fuel so you can do that. Because I'm kind of doing the same thing. Even though, like I said, my job, I'm good. I feel pretty solid, but I've been through a lot of ups and downs in the business with it, so I kind of know how that is. So I really you know, I've been wanting to have it for years, and it's one of these things. It's on me. It's been on me. I haven't focused. I haven't picked something and really put that work in outside of the, you know, music, which I'm working on. But, you know, it's like I deal with, you know, the same things a lot of us probably deal with. And my big one is I analyze, or I get caught up, you know, I end up watching and getting caught up watching a lot of these different ones, and then you're just kind of like, what should I do? And that's the thing about those videos. They're addictive to watch, but it's good to get the idea stirring. But what I've started to do is I started saving the best ones, you know what I mean? And then I save the sites that I think would be most like, okay, like this might be possible. But it's at some point where I am at, especially at this point, you know, it's like, okay, well, I need to pick something here and actually start, you know, going down that path. And, yeah, so that's basically where I'm at. So, because, you know, who doesn't want to get something where you start getting some passive income, or not even just that, but just some cool little gig. Oh, here's another one. You could get, you know, you can make money getting people followers on Instagram. There's like, so basically, you know, this type of thing, like I was saying, where it's third party stuff, where you're, you know, you're just getting something for a cheaper amount, and then you're upselling to somebody else, you know, which is a lot of business out there in general, guys. That's a big one. So even that, there you go. Think of that. Let me give you that. Just look. You don't have to think of just specifically that. What I'm trying to say is, think of a service out there that you could find on a freelancer, any of these things, at a lower, well, maybe not freelancer, but like Fiverr, and there's a couple other ones. But basically, if you could find a place where you could get the work done for a cheaper amount, but still good quality, but you could go ahead and upsell it as your own, right? Nobody's gonna know the difference. That's the business. That's a business right there. And you could. It's amazing. So that can encompass a lot of different things. I'm talking about one thing with the likes. So that could encompass drafting work, like CAD work. That could videos, like video advertisings, spreadsheet, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. Maybe it's something you're already kind of related to, but now you're trying to figure out a way to do, you know what I mean? So just giving you some things to roll in the head, and, you know, you could start looking up, you know, more about this and see what you start finding. But yeah, it's worth it. So anyways, guys, let me stop for a minute, and I'll be back. All right, back on again. Take my mask off in the car. Yeah, keeping it up. Yeah, everybody's been, I just went into my essential weed store, and yeah, everybody's, not every single person, but pretty much everybody. But my store now, they have a sign, no shirt, you know, the famous no shirt, no shoes, no service, but now they have no mask included on there. Like, they made their own, obviously. So they're making sure you got a mask on too. That's good. Yeah, it's gotten pretty, finally, now it's really being a thing, which should have probably been, which that's good. I mean, yeah, I mean, it may be a little, you know, little so-called inconvenience, but if that's all I gotta, if that's gonna help, and we all do it, and it's gonna really, really help us, then fuck it, I'm all with, like, of course, you know, like, of course, let's do it. What are we doing, you know? Yeah, so 269, damn, gas down to 269. I wish these other places would be that cheap. Fuck. Still so many that are charging like $1 more, pretty much. In some place, yeah, it's fucked up. But yeah, I'm gonna go right home. I I thought of something else, and I was like, God dang it. But yeah, oh shit, I should have stopped there. But yeah, I'm all good. I got a couple things. I think I'm good to go, and I gotta go to the bathroom, man. I've been holding it. It's like, damn, dude. Every place. Ooh, that's a nice ride. Somebody got an old. That's like a Caprice or something. Nice lowrider, man. Somebody just drove by with blue, with a pinstripe, like purple, like pinstripes going on, or something to that effect. Plus, like, it's this badass grill on the front. It is tight. It just went it was on the other side of the street here, where I'm going. I'm going south. They were heading north, but man, that's where the camera would be useful. Well, I need the dual, so you can get the street and get the me. Anywho, but yeah, pretty much still good, man. After last week I stocked up, and we're still. It's actually about last week, the week before. You know, we've been stocked up. But yeah, I've pretty much. I haven't gone. This is the first time I went shopping since last week, pretty much, or Monday. Yeah, it's been close. It wasn't a full week, but pretty close. Longer than usual. In any case, so yeah, we've actually. I think we've been doing good, me and my wife. You know, you still might want to munch here and there, but it's not like nobody's going crazy. Like, we ain't eating that much. You know what I mean? Like, we're not like getting, like where you're getting all these things and you're like, ooh, we're set. And then like 2 days later, you're like, oh, holy shit. Like, we're really seriously doing good as far as that, you know? And it's been like 100% at home eating. We're not, no takeout of any sort, no picking up at no drive-through meals or anything. So I'm pretty impressed, I have to say. We even unfortunately had to throw out a little bit of vegetables still. That sucked. I'm so fucking, I hate doing that. Even with juicing, which I know it definitely keeps me going, but, man. It's my own fault. It's nobody, that's the thing about it, you can't be mad. It's like, well, you didn't do, That's the only thing with vegetables, man. Fruits and vegetables. Mostly vegetables, like, especially lettuce. Anything like lettuce. Just a lot of them, man. Once something starts spoiling, it's like everything goes... You just have to... You can't expect to keep anything much more than a few days at best. I mean, there's some root like potatoes are fantastic. Those last long. Onions last long. Garlic is great. There's several other things, of course. There's a few things you can definitely like keep for a good minute. But yeah, the green stuff and strawberry, like, you gotta fucking get on it. Mushrooms, forget it. You just gotta cook them like that fucking day. That day or the next day. Like, it's ridiculous. But that's fresh. That's fresh ingredients. That's how it works. So, oh well. But yeah, we still don't do too bad. I know there's people probably throw out way more food. But it's always it always kind of sucks though. Nobody wants to fucking, you just feel like you're literally throwing away money, you know what I mean? So, anywho. Oh, man. What else? Yeah, I'm not part of the Netflix and all that stuff. I mean, my wife is the one who watches stuff, so I just kind of watch what she does, which is she's a lot of BET on. Martin is great. We have that on a lot. But yeah, I haven't been seeing, I know she was watching some Ozarks. I know she's probably seen a lot more than I have. There was some New Edition. We watched some of that came out like last year, I think. That series they had for a second. And yeah, man, so I'm terrible with, I still haven't even with this, I haven't sat there and watched a bunch of stuff like that. Yeah, I'm on YouTube, I guess, man. That's just more my deal, you know. And I've been watching. I'll tell you, I've been watching like Questlove. He's been DJing. It's just fun watching the DJs. Period. And I got a couple friends too that are really good that have been doing it. But yeah, he's got it down, man. I'd say out of all of them that I've noticed, as far as I could tell, he's broadcasting on his YouTube, his Instagram. I think he's like on 2 or 3 or 4 services at the same time he's doing it. So really being like very smart about that, man. It's dope. Because a lot of them, it's like one or the, you know, it's either he's on Instagram or he's not. You know, it's one of those deals. But anyways, guys, let me stop and I'll be back shortly. Hey guys, jumping back on here in a KANU Chronicles 246. Again, I'll say that, but just by the time you're hearing this, of course, unfortunately, it's going to be just a tad late, like a day, I think it's going to be. But that depends probably where you're at. But anyways, same difference, guys. The reason, not that I have to give you any reason, it's free. That's number one, it's free. So that's what comes with free. Sometimes you kind of, I could really do whatever. I could stop for a month. Now, even if it wasn't free, I could do that. The same things, guys, but you guys get it. I'm just talking a little shit. But yeah, reason I just I think I was mentioning it, but I was saying it looks like I'm probably going to be starting to work again, and which I knew. I was just getting hit up these last few days from my employer, and yesterday they called and, you know, having me start this week, so meaning today, starting back up, but it's like a light week. I guess I'm doing, I gotta make sure with that, but I think it's 3 days. It's like a 3 days and then you're off, and some kind of thing like that for these next couple of weeks at least, just to get things kind of rolling again. So it's good news. You should take it as good. That's some positive news. It's big, because also this is a studio, big studio lot I'm going to. So the fact that that's happening right now, you know, there's obviously that means there's obviously some other operations and such, you know, starting up as well, I'm sure. Even if it's a real small amount, but it's a glimmer. If it could give you a little hope or glimmer, then, you know, take that. But it is something. It is pretty good. So, like I said though before, you know, I know every job is going to have some certain rules, or they're going to do, you know, all this is going to adjust some things going forward, which is good. I mean, you know, really, well, it can be good. It doesn't mean it is good. It can be, though. It can be a good thing, in terms of, like, you know, companies just being a little better with trying to be better with their employees, you know, not letting people just work themselves so sick. You know what I mean? Like, just paying some closer attention to stuff like that. So now we're just even, you know, it's all, if you have any type of fever or anything, you know, they're like, see ya, which is always something that should be the case. And I'm not saying it hasn't, or, you know, people don't, you know, take sick days. It's just, I'm in a business that, you know, I remind myself, it's like, we're pretty lucky, even in, not, you know, even in the not so great companies, usually, you know, you may not get much sick time, but, you know, if you're sick, like, they get, like, you get it. It's pretty, you know, they'll work with you know what I mean, usually, you know, but not every job is like that out there, and there's definitely a lot of employer type abuse that goes on. You know, you maybe experienced or experiencing it right now yourself. Hopefully you're not. But, you know, it's as much as, it's that, you know, also as employees, people have to, and sometimes you just can't. You're in a pickle, and that's the job you have, and that's your money, and that's it. And so you put up with shit, but you gotta, you know, people gotta try to get away from that, or, you know, quit those jobs. Don't let them do that to you, you know, or don't, you know, hopefully don't be in that situation. But hey, man, things happen in life, you know. But yeah. So, anyways, I'm just mentioning this. I would have to imagine, like I said, for any of most of the good or decent enough employers out there, you know, this is just, yeah, I think it can make things that much better. You know, people can feel more sure that, you know, kind of the company cares, even though, you know, they may not really, but, you know, but they should. I mean, if you're a good worker and all that, why fuck with that? You know, why? But, you know, it's not, anyways, it goes on and on. Usually these things, it's just usually people that fuck these up. Doesn't mean the company's bad. That's the other part of this. You could have a good company, a great company, but, you know, the people you work with directly, they may not be that good, and they're there, you know, one way or another, and, you know, they're not adhering to things the way they should, you know. So, anywho, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that's what's up, man. So I'm going in right now, fired up the podcast. Yesterday I don't know, I just was at home. I didn't even do much. That's the thing with these days. Like, you start realizing how fucking, like, man, you gotta really stay on it, because I felt like for this time off, I did pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and beat up myself. I mean, because let's face it, it wasn't not a bad idea to get just even that break. Just even that itself is definitely helpful, you know, in a lot of different ways. Just getting the rest. And I didn't have actually, if I look, yeah, I'm actually just under, it would have been 3 weeks. I think it would have been really it's pretty close to a month off, almost, but it's like 3 weeks and something like that. Just short of a month off type thing, but it's not a lot of time like it is, but it's not, you know. It's like, in the beginning it is, you're like, wow, it's gonna be a while, and then they extended, so I was like, oh boy, you know. And so you start getting, you know, with this particular thing in the pandemic, you know, I was just like, I was pretty confident. I was saying, you know, probably start of May. I feel pretty good. I think we'll do it. But you just didn't, you know, you just couldn't tell just yet, you know. But as time started going on, I was like, I think we're pretty good for beginning of May. And but boom, you know, as soon as they probably found a little hole of light to get some people in there, they were like, okay, we can get this going again. And that's really just some protocols and steps they had to do. Yeah, so either way, it's all good. This is, you know, it is what it is. I didn't accomplish all, you know, a bunch of stuff, but I got some stuff done. Wow, these freeways are empty. Well, for here. I mean, there's people out, but it's not, yeah, it's way less than a normal day. Like, coming on here, it would be a little bit, I mean, I'm coming in a little later. This isn't early morning traffic. It's now like 10:30, yeah. But there's still usually, you know, on normal, you know, there's definitely more traffic, typically. But, yeah, there's some, I mean, there's people, It's just if these freeways weren't as big as they were, it'd look a lot worse. You know, or a little bit worse. I wouldn't say a lot, but yeah, it's just. But yeah, it's nice, man. It's a good time. If you want to, something that's one thing I didn't do. I got time. I could still do it on the weekend or something coming up, but it's probably another good thing to do is just take a nice big drive around the city since there's no traffic. You know, not that it's that exciting in a way, especially when you've seen everything. You know, if you're new in town, it's a good time. You could do it, I guess. But no, it is. Yeah, if you're new in town, if you just got here in LA, just moved here in the midst of all this, God bless you. I hope everything's working out okay. That's tough because there's definitely some people right now that just moved here for whatever reason, and you know, this all happened, and then maybe it was in February, maybe it was right in the midst of it, you know, as things are happening. They're just like, I'm moving already, I can't stop, you know. I'm sure there's a lot of those stories, not just in this city, but other places too, you know what I mean? People start job, you know, anything, any reason. But yeah, if you're new in town, I would, if you can, take advantage of that part of it. Just go ahead and, this is really good time to learn the city. You know, just drive around, really drive, get some, you know, just get a good view of all the, you know, like drive all the way to the 210, all the way, I would say drive down to Long Beach, just like cover a big area. And there's the fuel. I haven't had that go off for a while. Haven't had to get gas for a while either. I actually didn't get any this whole time. Fuck, man, that's crazy. I really just thought of that right now. No, I did early on. Early on, I did get some. Not much, though. I got like, yeah, I got it like under $20 or some kind of thing. I got some gas or whatever. But man, it's been since that time. So, yeah, it's pretty much... It's almost been a month since I got gas. Almost. That's not gonna... Now that won't happen again for a while until if I get my other system here of transportation, maybe. Then it'll happen. Yeah, it's nice. It feels nice to say that because I've saved a little. Yeah, no, I've definitely saved some money. I've saved money. I'll say... Let's go down the list I've saved this last month. I've saved on that. I've saved on, excuse me. There we go. Never fails. Give you guys a good burp. Man. What are you going to do? Yeah, I've saved on some gas. I've saved on, like lunch at work, or even, well, it's mostly lunch, basically, like a lunch, dinner, whatever you want to say, but, you know, that starts being like, it's pretty much $6 to $10 a day, at least. I mean, it's not, yeah, a lot of times, like, most of the meals are like 8, so you could pretty much say 10, so it's like $10 a day right there, you know, like, I was pretty much doing that every day. At work, you know, at least on my work days, but, and then, so there's that, and then, you know, going to the bar for a couple beers, yeah, 2 or 3 beers, you know, that adds up too, so that's like another, you know, at regular price, that was like another almost $20 right there, so yeah, I mean, you add that up, that's a good bit. I mean, I wouldn't always go, not every, you know, I wouldn't go maybe every night, but there were some times here and there recently I was going a little bit, you know, a little extra. I was probably going 3 nights a week at least before, you know, but just having, like I said, like a beer, usually 2 beers, 3 type thing, that's it. Doesn't sound like, you know, no big deal, but yeah, and it really, so-called isn't, but but yeah, they get pricey, you know. It's $7 a pop, you know. That adds up. So yeah, I've saved. You want to say, let's say per week, I've probably saved. Let's see, with gas, gas is not too. I think it'd be worse for this car, but it's not too bad. I'd say like for pretty much, we're just gonna, because it's all centered around work in a way. But I would say I've saved on gas. It's probably been about $30+ probably $35 a week or so. So that's $140, and then yeah, beers and food 52. Yeah, it's probably all together. I mean, it's like a good few $100 at least, something like that. Yeah, it adds up, man. It doesn't seem like it. It really. That's the thing, man. Whenever you're like, what the fuck? How am I spending this or that? You know, them little fucking things, dude, adds up. And it's a 20 here, a 50 there, $5, you know, whatever, and it just adds up. But yeah, now it's for this past month, it definitely went down. But yeah, going forward, I want to keep it, try to keep it more down. I mean, the gas part's going to be what, you know, the gas has gone down price-wise, so that's good. So that's not going to be, and it'll bring it down a little bit. It's not like it's going to drastically bring it down, but it'll come down about another $10, which, hey, is nothing to sneeze at, you know, especially over a month and so on, you know. But you know, who knows how long that may last. You know, it's for right now. It may last some months, but I don't know. We'll see how long that's really going to last. It's contingent on people not being able to, you know, live life, so to speak. But even when we can go back to AKA normal, yeah, I don't see, like I said, I think there's gonna be a process with people. I mean, partially work-wise, no, that's gonna be like, whatever jobs can start getting going again, restaurants and all that, like, that's gonna go ahead and ramp up pretty quickly right there with people. You know, in terms of people going to work. Now, as far as the public going to those places and stuff, you know, even with if they have like, well, it's not going to be an if, I'm sure they will, but let's say they have a restriction of like, oh, we can only have so many people in a restaurant type thing, like they got to keep doing something like that, whatever the case is going to be, you know, right? But even with that, I don't think you're going to have everybody really rushing back to go out to things like that, you know. But I could be wrong. It's an age group thing, I would say, to some degree. But I don't know. I really feel like this will probably, at least for a little while, it's going to alter everybody's. You know, I could see it kind of continuing, or people kind of not being. Yeah, you know, maybe thinking about things a little different, you know, just because of what this has kind of gotten people aware of or thinking about. Whether it's really that necessary to the degree or not. Yeah, so it's going to be, yeah, I think that'll, but it'll, you know, it will happen though. I'm just talking, I mean, I'm just guessing. It's just kind of my thoughts on that. But I can't, you know, I'm looking forward to it, man. Even if it's not me at a place, but just to see a little liveliness again. I mean, even on Instagram, like, you see the difference, you know. It's like people are trying, and you know, you get stuff that's like, oh, that was like, you know, they save their old, you know, videos or things from, you know, before, and they're like reposting stuff, but that's about all you got. But you could tell the action of things, like even on Instagram or any social media, you know, even all that's different, you know. So, but yeah, just to roll down a street somewhere or any, you know, even if I'm not like I said, even if it's not me that's out, but just to see some of that again, it'll be nice. It'll be nice. But I want everybody, you know, I want us all safe first, and, you know, I hope this, you know, this virus, this shit goes away or settles out. And, but, you know, the facts are, unfortunately, like, you know, we're probably going to have, you know, this could become a reoccurring, unfortunately, kind of a reoccurring thing, perhaps. It might, you know, it's a possibility. So we just have to, you know, it's not a crazy thing to think. It's just kind of a reality. But, or who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll get, maybe we can kind of get lucky for a while again, you know. I mean, the thing is, we don't, here in the States, we've been very fortunate for a long time in terms of dealing with something like this. And maybe it's other points, you know, they could have done this, but it just, for whatever reason, didn't register to make them react that way, right? But there's been, you know, all these different pandemics in different countries. So other places have had to deal with some level of this, you know. We just didn't have to, you know. But you have other places in the same timeline maybe dealing with it in the same way or worse. And so it's not like as shocking or anything. They're used to it, or they're more ready, you know, or accepting for certain things. Here we're doing good though, man. As much as I think I'm talking as far as people. I'm not saying like, are we in terms of the, because if I just say we're doing good, everybody goes, no, they're not. You know, Trump, they're doing this, they're doing that. It's like, I guess, I don't know. I'm just going by, I got to go by what I see with regular people, what I see with the professionals, and the information I can see. I think we're considering, all things considered, and what was being also said, I think it's pretty damn, especially in this, at least in California, I could speak for. I'm not going to say for every other place, but I would say here we're doing really good. Like, people really, you know, I'd say people are really adhering to things. You know, is every single person? No, but a lot. So, hopefully, yeah, just hopefully this does, you know, give us the result we would like, you know, afterwards, and we don't have to, you know, hopefully don't have like another wave or something like that, but, or if we do, you know, it's way more controllable. So we'll see, man. We got to be just realistic. I'd say the two things: be realistic, be patient, and that's it. But for most of us, a lot of us will be, you know, we are going to be fine. You know, you just have to be, you know, just do the normal shit. So that's all. But yeah, man, it's gonna be, you know, right now it's all just tripping out because I'm like, fuck. It actually just feels like I was over here. I just haven't been to this side of town now for a little while. Since my last day at work, yeah. So, but it's looking good. I'm seeing the businesses that are, you know, the restaurants that are open and have the signs. We have takeout and all that, so that's good. Hopefully they're hanging in there barely, but at least they're hanging in there. You got places, when you got certain places, I think, that have that long, loyal following that's been around for some time, and not only that, but already have had a takeout option. you know, I think that they're they're going to be in a bit better shape. New places, or yeah, there's certain places I feel, you know, kind of feel for them. Like there's right now, I'm going to roll by this new pizza place. They've been around just some months, if I don't even know, like not that long, just some months really. And you know, this happens. At least they are pizza and delivery, you know, so they're set up for that. So that's good. But you know, it's still got a suck in a way of like, God, you know. I mean, they got a little under their belt and started getting going, so, I mean, it could have been worse. They could have been opening right as it was happening. And I'm sure there was some places out there, right, like that, too. We're just opening right in the midst, or that was what it was, and that's really bad. But it doesn't have to be. You never know. You'd be surprised. People really are, I'd say there's people really trying to, there's a segment of people that are keeping places going and trying to support. So that's good, but it's tough. It is, and you know, I just hope the best for all these places. I just think this is one of those things. That's where this is, you know, I hope, you know, I think for certain businesses now, it's going to make them think about you know, figuring out, have something in place for something like this, you know. I'm sure everybody's trying to figure out different things, a lot of different businesses, but the ones like, especially restaurants, bars, I know they got to be like, okay, we got to fucking have something else we can do in case, you know, like, you know, I don't know what you could, I mean, I guess you could say, you know, there's not much they can do, you know, it's like, well, the only other thing they could really, all you could do is try to set up a better safety net for yourself, hopefully. But that's still, like, not everybody could do that, you know. That's still all money, you know. Either you got it or you just aren't going to have it, you know what I mean? And that's just the facts. But I hope they, you know, I hope they get help if they need it. I hope that's happening. I'm sure it's going to be a pain in the ass. And for some it won't. For some it won't, you know. That's the thing. Just like unemployment. Like unemployment, for some people, it's all, like I've said, for me, thankfully, when I've had to have it, it's pretty smooth. I've mostly been, like, no problem, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm getting up to this gate here. I'm going to have to stop, guys, so forgive me. But yeah, I'll pick up in just a minute, but hang in there, hang tight. Hey, here we go. I'm back again. See? No, didn't even have to wait. So, excuse me. I just, went out and took a little walk on the lot here. Just working away. I almost kind of forgot about the podcast for a second. Yeah, I just thrown off, guys. You know, everything's been, you know, it's going from one speed to another kind of thing. So, but here we are. But yeah, so really nice weather out. It's feels pretty warm, man. I didn't check let me look and see. Hold on. Just picking this up right now. You're gonna hear some tapping, maybe. Let's see. Give you that weather. Ooh, it did. It's 80. I was gonna say it does feel close to that out there. Wow, 4:30 and it's 80. So that's it. That's the height. And then it's going to go down to oh wow, it's going to even get to the 50s by the morning. See what I'm saying? That's LA, man. You get these 30-degree swings in a day. And tomorrow's 80, same kind of weather. Looks like all sun except Saturday. Doesn't say rain, but maybe that would be this weekend, maybe. Maybe there'll be a chance of something, you never know. But so far, beautiful. But yeah, we're gonna have a couple days, pretty warm. Weekend drop into this, high's only gonna get to 60s. And then it's pretty gonna much be the mid 60s, 70s, and yeah, pretty much gonna get to normal for this time of year. But yeah, real pretty out there, man. Totally peaceful. Yeah, it's pretty wild. There's definitely, probably at this point now, there's probably very little people here. There already isn't many people in this lot. And in my building, I don't even know, there's just probably 5 of us or less. So, and speaking of, I just heard a door open. I don't know if I got neighbors here, but anyways, yeah, it's just the way it is right now. It's kind of what the holidays were kind of similar. I would say it's probably close to what that was like. But it's even quieter, man, to be honest. It's wild, but it's just nice, man. I'm definitely glad to be back at work right now. Hopefully we could keep it going pretty smoothly, and I think we will. I think we're going to be just fine here. I mean, the main thing, like I said, with my job, as you can hear, I mean, and the fact that I can do this, I can record, a podcast effectively. Not that I don't really like to always do it, but if I can here and there, why not? So, yeah, I'm to myself. I have my own room. Everything's clean for the most, cleaner than most. cleaner than most jobs, right? Yeah, I'm not in the kitchen, or I'm not dealing with the public, or a ton of things, man. But shout out to any of you guys. If you're doing that, depending on what your job is, kudos to you, man. I appreciate it. Whether it's this kind of thing going on or not, anybody out there working hard, or has to really earn their paycheck, as they say, kudos. Nothing wrong with that at all. But so I just been checking out a little news online, and yeah, it's just one thing. I got into a little bit of news, listening and just checking out some stuff, type thing, and quickly I realized why I don't like to bother much, because it'll get you bummed out. And then it's a thing, you get bummed out because it comes down to what can, most of the time it's well, I can't do anything about that. That's kind of how I feel after. Is oh, okay, well, what can we do? Oh, nothing. Oh, great. Or, something to that effect. So, yeah, it's okay to get up to date on some things. That's pretty much what I do. But, I haven't missed anything. The only thing I'm missing is other people's commentary and thoughts. But I pretty much already know what that is, and I could read it. I that's why I end up just reading this stuff, or just check, through Twitter through a day. I'll see what's going on, and you know what? It's really it's pretty much good enough. I don't feel like I said, I could check out some news and I don't walk away going, oh my god, I didn't really know that. There was only one thing. Oh, I will talk about it. There's one thing I learned, which is real shitty. So apparently, for some shitty news, but I gotta share it just in case, unless, I'm sure you guys might hear or see something about this by then, hopefully. But apparently with the stimulus package, the banks, if you have an account with whoever, and you've been, because apparently it's pretty common, thankfully I haven't had to do it often, if it really at all, to be quite honest, but overdrawing accounts is a big thing. You know, not people, and it doesn't mean people are trying to, it's just they're not making enough, so they kind of have to on checking accounts. So if you get a stimulus check, there's no protection from them garnishing and taking your money from that to pay for your overdrafts or whatever's going on, and all that. Now, it hasn't happened, like it hasn't, well, if any checks have happened, it's happened today. Now, that particular scenario, what I'm talking about, I'm sure, you know, people are going to start having that happen, you know, if that's the case, and it's going to be coming pretty soon, you know, that, you know, we'll find, you know, that kind of, if that kind of activities happen, and, you know, we'll start hearing about it pretty quickly in the next week, if that's the case. But, yeah, what a shitty thing to do to people, that these banks are going to be allowed to garnish your check for overdraft fees and all that. Which I guess some people would argue, well, it's the same if you get paid. I mean, they would, you know, and it's like, I guess, yeah, that's true. Either way, there's nothing to root to. You shouldn't be. Don't feel like you got to defend the banks. You know, they're getting huge stimulus money, whether necessary or not. And because let me tell you, this is the thing. These overdraft fees have been a huge business for them for some years. And it's disgusting. It's really doesn't need to be that way. It doesn't need to be, at least it doesn't need to be as severe, if anything. But it really doesn't need to exist, period. Because they're making money on our money that's in the bank. Trust me. They're gambling every day with our money and making who knows how many times fold, right? Don't think... So, for instance, if you know anything about Forex and day trading, look into it. And with that, if you learn a little bit about it, and this is just one thing, let alone who knows some of the other ways that this gets done, but you better believe that banks have a team. And it doesn't have to be tons and tons of people. It could be, you know, only so many. And outside of that, there's software for this stuff. But they're definitely using our money in doing day trading and making tons off of it. And, you know, hey, kudos for them anyways for that. I mean, whatever. But just the kind of shit like that and everything else, and then to overcharge people, it's just disgusting. It's disgusting. So just want to share that in case, you know, that's my kind of bad news share of the day. One of them. I'm probably giving some other things, I just don't realize it. But that I have to talk about and make you aware of. But yeah, really, really terrible. And I hope a lot of people don't face this, even though there are going to be people definitely facing this shit. But I just hope people, you know, just fight. You know what? You just got to fight back. Because let me tell you, I've had maybe a handful of overdraws, and it's always been like where it was like the next day and the money was going to be there type, like very small thing. Like I'm probably never should have had any, but I'm not, you know, embarrassed or anything. It's like I said, things happen, you know, anybody. And but I'm just saying that any of my little bit of that has been like I said, a day in between money hitting the account, stuff like that. But even in those instances where it's happened, and because like I'll be on it right away, and I'll do my due diligence. I'll, you know, obviously if it's, which it hasn't been, but let's say it took a couple days or whatever, well, I guess I would just have to fucking eat that. But even so, You don't have to. The point of what I'm just going to say here is, look, even in your, whatever your situation, if that's the case and you got overdraft fees and they do that, protest the shit out of it. And I don't mean you have to stand outside the bank type. I'm talking, you know, and I don't want anybody to get, you know, you gotta obviously do it with all respect and be, you know, be smart, be cool. Really, something I gotta, you know, sometimes I have to remind myself, you know, I can get hot-headed a little bit easy with things, and you know, you get upset and all that, but try to be as cool and calm about these things, or go with that and go to your bank manager of whatever bank. If it's not your branch, if it's at another one, it doesn't matter. Just go in and just discuss the situation and everything else. And I'm just saying this because you'd be surprised, and they'll waive it if they can, or if you press them to it. You'd be surprised what may happen. They'll waive that fee, and especially if more people would do it in mass, you know, that's about all, you know, that's all I could say. I think, and that goes all that I'm just talking for all the time when it comes to anything banks, credit, anything with your money, dealing with banks, even taxes. I think credit cards, loans, the number one thing that we all get right away, just by default, because if you're not, you know, most of us, we're not really raised financially as literate as we could be or should be, but we default to just being afraid, you know, like, oh, like we almost get this, it's like a, I'd say like people almost react with the unnecessary, almost like a fear, like they're going to be arrested for saying something, or dealing, you know, just going at their whatever company, and, you know, like they're going to, like this is somebody they know, and they're going to do, then they'll fuck with me or do this. It's like they can't, you know, or it's just, you know, people don't want to bother. They don't need the hassle. They don't want to, you know, and I understand that, but you know what? You have to, and don't be afraid to go. And yeah, go. You know, if you feel like you have an argument or you feel like something's not right, fight it. And even if that, you know, even if it seemed maybe somebody, you know, a friend of yours, maybe their opinion, they're like, oh no, you're wrong, man. They're, you know, if it's your shit, do what you got to do. If you got to go and talk to your bank manager, or go talk to a bank and get some shit settled, go do it. You know, credit cards. Now, at some point with some of this stuff, you really, I would say, in a lot of cases, you can talk to somebody and probably get something done. But don't spend too much time on that, I would say. You know, maybe give those things a couple chances. And if you can't get the results you want, really, really what you need to do then is it becomes letters. You got to do letters. And those got to go to, you know, the highest people possible. And you want to certify them, make sure you got like documentation that it's sent. It sounds a lot more confusing. It's easy stuff, you know. But, yeah, do that shit. Do that shit. Because they can't, at the end of the day, they ain't gonna be able to do much of anything to you, man. You know? Not really anything anyways, like, you know, that's gonna be that altering. So, yeah, just a little words of encouragement there. I hope, and if you need, you know, and if you need help with that, go find people that can help you with that, you know, but do your homework. I mean, if we're talking overdraft fees and stuff like that, you know, there's not much services for that. They're kind of small thing. That's kind of a small thing. The other thing you can do in the meantime is start looking at other banks, even if you don't have the money to open that account right then. And I know some of these things are a little time consuming, but if you have the time and you can find it, you can figure it out. It'll be worth it. And it's just little chunk. You just got to do things, and if you got to do it in little chunks, you do it in little chunks, whatever. My point is, like, with the bank stuff, hey, start looking up, start Googling no overdraft fee banks, and you'll find a lot of banks that you don't, outside of the big ones. There's a lot of them out there looking to help customers like yourself and get you away from that shit. Community banks are also good to look at. Doesn't mean that they don't do it either. They do, but they might be a little more, might just be easier to deal with because it's a smaller, they're just not as big, and you might be able to have somebody you could really talk to and all that stuff. But don't give up. You'd be surprised. Look, I have one of the biggest banks. I'm not going to sit or name anybody, but and even with them, look, I think it's been a couple times I've been able to get my shit reversed for overdraft fees. One of the last times they made it more difficult for me. I tried to do it on the phone, they wouldn't, and they meant well. They just work on a computer system, and they go, well, you just did it this long ago, so we can't do. It's like one of those things. And look, the person, they're just doing their job. Try to always remember that. There's nothing personal to these people. They're just trying to make it through their day. Okay. So again, if you get nowhere on the phone, or you just don't think they're really listening, or whatever the case may be, you don't have to yell. You don't have to lose it. Just try to catch yourself as early as possible if you feel that way, and just get off the phone, because you're just going to frustrate yourself. Right? So just get off the phone, and if there's time that day, go to that bank. I don't care. It doesn't have to be the one where you opened your account. Just go to one of their fucking locations. And you go in there, and you ask for the manager, and you just discuss your situation. They'll be happy to look it up. They'll see what's up. And trust me, they don't want any ruckus. They don't want any fucking problems. And they're already going to be like, wow, this guy came all the way here for that. They'll work with you. They should reverse it, Just, it's worth giving it a shot. And if that still doesn't work out, just try to, keep composed, leave peaceful, don't get yourself you don't need to be a fool. You can maybe, if you gotta blow up a little, so you just try not to curse anybody, don't yell, shit like that. But, if you gotta say a couple things, like I've done it where I'm like, cool, well, it's alright, I'm gonna be looking for another bank, you wanna be smart. Sometimes you just gotta let off a little bit. Just try to be a little clever, that's all I'm saying, without get yourself in trouble or anything. And, but really you shouldn't. Just leave the fucking place. You don't get any help, you leave. And like I said, the next step, fuck it. If you got enough in you left, you still feel like you're down, make that letter. It's real simple. You could copy letters from the internet too, something that's close to what you're, mad about. And then you just alter what you got to alter, and get that shit sent to the highest sources. And you never know. You never know what can happen out of that. And if at the least it's just you knowing that you did everything you could, fuck it, that's what you did. And then, like I said, only other thing is find a bank that's not going to do it, So, yeah, man, it's the way it is, man. You gotta fight for yourself. But just know that don't be afraid of these institutions. They work for you, and let them know that too. Like I've had cards. Oh, and they hate that too. Like I've had accounts where they're closed, but I'm paying on them, right? And you'll call them, and they'll try to get on you, and make you feel some kind of way, and I say, hey, you still work for me, guys. You know, like, I'm still your customer here. Don't get it twisted. And, you know, they don't like that. They don't like that, but it's true. So you just have to just know where you stand with these fools, because they don't rule your life, and they're not the end-all be-all. All that, you know, most of that shit at the end of the day, credit cards, loans, except for student loans, those are the real motherfuckers. But, look, you know what happens? The worst thing that happens? They ding your credit report. And that, obviously, it's important. Not saying to fuck it up, but if you're already kind of not in a great spot on your credit, what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it comes down to that. Like, when you're in a situation with your money and everything else, and it just isn't, you know, jiving, you just have to sometimes make those hard decisions, and maybe you just, all right, cool. You just suck it up for a while, and you kind of have shitty credit. But don't, the last thing you want to do, if you can help it, don't go file bankruptcy. That's the one you don't really want. But yeah, man, that's just my 2 cents on that stuff. Because trust me, I've had plenty of these moments. And, you know, it happens, man. We all you get in a little financial trouble. Like, at one point when you had it, you know, your credit's good, you're kicking butt, you're making your payments, you know, and then things change, and then whatever, a hiccup happens, and you miss a payment, and whatever, things start going down a bit. Well, like I said, you have to just start getting down to what's most important. And if it is just your rent and keeping the lights on and your head covered, then that's what you're going to do. All that other shit, whatever. You know, auto loans, of course, well, they could take your car back. True enough. But at least in this state, I don't know about every state, but another little fun fact is even if they take your car, you're supposed to get knowledge on where that auction's going to be for your car, and you could actually have an opportunity to buy it back. Still doesn't mean you don't have to pay they may still be trying to hit you up for that money, but I'm just saying, it depends how far you want to take things or what you got to do. There's always something to do. You have to try to, like, I guess what I've gotten to, or what I've kind of learned, is you got to, like, start learning to treat some of these things just like a business would. And it is just that. You got to just treat it. It's business. Try not to treat it personal. And you just got to make things work. Make it work for you, you know. But it's a motherfucker, man. It could be a motherfucker. Excuse me. Because I've had instances now a couple times over where it's like you just get in a little bit of trouble. You get a little bit of this and that. And then, you know, and then you're trying to really get help. You're trying to maybe, you know, get an, you know, a loan, or you're going to consolidate, but you can't get the credit because you have the score, you know what I mean? So it's frustrating, because you could be absolutely in the right place, you feel, to get XYZ, because you're like, hey, I got the money, I'll be able to pay it. And you can't get the help then at that point. So it's like the people that need it can't get it, because, you know, and then the people that don't need it, they just get whatever. It sucks. And but it is the way it is. But you just have to, you know, like I said, time is the big thing. You just gotta suck it up, and you know, it might take a while, but you just have to do what you gotta do and build yourself back up, and then hopefully you'll get some kind of whatever relief. But But yeah, don't ever give up. And there's always some help. And again, if you know, if you need a higher source of help, well, the one free counseling we get is from HUD. Apparently, there's counselors from HUD that can help you out with stuff like that too, and it's free. You don't have to pay anything for it. Now, I haven't personally used them, but I'm just saying it just so for somebody else out there, maybe that little piece of information is useful. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. Look into it. Be careful with these credit cleanup companies. It's hit or miss, you know. I'd say, in my experience, the little bit I've had interaction with. For instance, recently I hired a company to help out on my shit, and I've done the work myself as well. But I went and hired them. They weren't that expensive. Really nice people, and I thought they did, you know, they definitely were doing their thing. You know what I mean? They keep you updated. Thing is, they don't let you know exactly what kind of letters or what they're sending, because that's their like secret, right? But I can't say 100% they really did anything for me. I used them for several months, and you know what? The items or things that we were trying to do, nothing really happened. Now, in the same time period, you know, I did get a better score, but I think that was more from me than it was from them. You know, just doing, you know, paying things, you know, just doing the things I was supposed to do. But it doesn't mean you don't. I wouldn't say not. If you want to try a system out there, try it. Now these, the ones you got to really be careful with though, is these ones, like these ones saying they're going to get your payments reduced and all this and that. Those ones are troublesome, because you could really fuck your score up and then some. But basically what they're going to have you do is have you stop paying these guys, and then it becomes you're trying to settle, and settle's not really good on your report. They potentially could be as bad as bankruptcy, surprisingly. And the thing is, just like the other thing I was going to say with fixing credit, you could do this on your own. So if you do want to go down that road and you really feel that desperate, that you're going to have to just like stop fucking paying people and just let things, just let it be. Just do it on your own. Don't bother to go into one of those things, because they're not gonna really make it any better. And that way too, you know, you're in more control of what's going on than you going relying on this other entity to do right, you know. So yeah, it's just some little experience advice, and you know, that I've come across. And you know, I never went down that road. I got close a couple times, but then I just realized, yeah, you just start looking into it and realize, like, this is really, why would I do that? I could just do it myself, you know. But you might have somebody out there or in your family that will swear otherwise and say it was, you know, it helped them, and it may have. And there's people that may help. I'm not saying it doesn't sometimes. It's just that you have to know what you're getting into and be willing, you know, to do that. So, you know, there's no perfect anything. You just have to, like I said, you just have to figure out what's right for you. I think the more I've seen and learned is really, if you could do things yourself, do it yourself. Oh, I will give a tip. Here's another tip if you want to help out on your, this is a good tip, and this does work, to help on your credit score. But you're a renter, right? If you're just renting, you could now report rent on your credit score. But you could, I guess you could do it yourself. You definitely can. I just didn't do it, or you could pay a company. There's a couple companies. I'll mention the one. I'm not getting anything for this, but they're called Rental Karma. And you could, just as you'd think it would be spelled, look them up. Rentalkarma, I think, .com. And there's Rent Reporters is another one, but Rental Karma is who I use. I think they're a little cheaper. Easy to get on the phone with, very friendly. And if you start up with them, they immediately report your last 2 years of rent, if you have that record. And it can help increase your score. And then they report from there on, as long as you keep the service. And it's really cheap. Like, it's, I think, a few bucks a month or something like that. So, doesn't mean you have to, now you may want to use that for a while, or you may use it for, maybe you just want to keep it that way, while you're renting. But that's a good, that was a useful little bit of money I spent right there, for sure. That's pretty much all I got on that. I'm sure there's a couple other things, but yeah. So I hope you guys are hanging in there either way, but do what you gotta do. Everybody's waiting for this stimulus money. Supposedly, like I said, a certain amount might have already hit some people today. Tomorrow's the big day, though, which is the 15th. So you guys will already been listening to this by the time that, you know what I mean? It's like coincides. But, tomorrow's supposed to be the big day. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then, I just got some updates on that. And then, like, most of Social Security people, that's going to be next week. And then if it has to be on paper, which they're trying to avoid, which they're going to have a site for people to get on there, and you can put your deposit information or something, I think. They're trying to really make it so you can get it direct, but you got to kind of like pay attention and act fast. And when it comes to any of this stuff, go to irs.gov to start with. You could look up people and information, but they have everything there. So go there, and we're supposed to be able to start checking, or going to be able to see where our money is, either maybe at some point tonight or tomorrow for sure. There's going to be a way to do that on there, and you'll see what I'm talking about when you get in there. But because otherwise, like I said, if it's going to be paper, those checks don't start going out till May 4th, and it's like they could do maybe 5 million checks a week. So, so for some people it can end up being quite a while. So like I said, if the faster you can act and try to go and mitigate that, if you're one of those people, do what you gotta do. But yeah, it's crazy, guys. And and that's it. But yeah, it just depends. I'm talking, obviously this is for the U.S. Other countries, you got there's other things going on. But yeah, it's just been one thing after another, and it's always Trump fucking just saying stupid shit and then some. Gets really boring, and it's also I don't know, man. It's just along with constantly pointed out. It's like I know by now. It's like I get this guy. I think a lot of us do, but it's like, oh man, you gotta, can't consume yourself with that. You have to, so please do me a favor. Don't, again, we all could do the best we can to avoid it, but it could be hard. But yeah, don't spend too much time on the news. It's not going to, you know, and the reason I just think of it this way. Just try to remember, like, for any of us, think in your life, how much at any one moment have you been able to, you know, did you watch the news and then finish and go, man, I'm glad I watched that. That really helped my life. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't happen. I mean, there's like, it doesn't mean that there might be a story here and there, you know, like, oh, I'm glad I found out. Like, it doesn't mean they can't tell you something here and there that's like, oh, I'm glad I paid attention that day, you know, but like, seriously, most of the time, like, it's not. You get off and it just, you know, weird, just gets you going, because now you got, you know, maybe before that you had like, I got like 3 problems I gotta contend with in my life, and those could be 3 pretty big kind of problems, you know what I mean? At least to you, everybody has their own, right? And then by the time you finish that shit, you have the world's problems on your mind that you cannot do anything really about, and what is it serving you? Like, really, not much. So, just some words, man. Just a real reminder for all of us. Yeah, just keep it light. I'd say read. If you're gonna do any news, read it. I would say read it more so than anything. And if that's a paper, great. If that's online, fine. Whatever, great. But yeah, do if anything, do that, and then yeah, get away from it, and you know, listen to some music, learn some new, learn a new language, whatever. Learn some new stuff. Go towards things that are going to be enriching. You know, that are going to really help you, you know, so, just my 2 cents. Alright guys, so I'm going to wrap it up. I don't want to make it too long, even though some of you might be like, no, please, but that's it for now. I appreciate you guys, thanks for listening, and I'll be back soon. Later.